All right, we're now going to go to Congresswoman Lisa McClain. She is a member of the House Armed Services Committee. Congresswoman, welcome back to Washington Watch.
Well, thanks for having me. How are you today?
I'm doing just fine. We played just a moment ago, played a clip of one of your colleagues, Congressman Michael McCall, over the weekend talking about how President Biden was going to own this because of the negative consequences that were going to come from the premature withdrawal from Afghanistan. Your thoughts?
Well, I think Michael McCall is spot on. I mean, I'm assuming that when he talks about the withdrawal and the Taliban taking over within the next 6 months, I mean, let's face it, Biden's own military leadership advised against the withdrawal. And they warned of the Taliban taking over in 6 months. So, they've already taken over a third of the region, and we're not even out of Afghanistan yet. What do you think is going to happen when we completely withdraw? I mean, we're in trouble, and that region is in trouble.
Now, on Friday, the U.S. vacated the Bagram Air Base, some 40 miles north of Kabul. And this was the biggest military installation during that 2-decade-long war. This is ahead of schedule. The president said he wanted them out by September the 11th. In your opinion, is this going to create a vacuum that the terrorists are going to fill?
Absolutely, it's going to create a vacuum. And it already is creating a vacuum. And this is a real danger. And then you take a look at once the Taliban gets a hold of that region and a firm hold of that region, we already can predict what's going to happen. This is going to be another humanitarian crisis. This is going to be we're going to be dealing with refugees, and it's going to be a real mess, not only for that region, but for us as well, because people are going to look at us because we are the ones that withdrew from it. Not the fact that we withdrew from it, but we withdrew from it without a plan of transition or without a peaceful transition of power. It's not a good play that we're running right now.
Now, Congresswoman McClain, the U.S. intelligence assessment warns that the Afghan government could fall to the Taliban within 6 months of the U.S. departures. Now, some Taliban officials think it's going to happen even more quickly. Do you think that the Biden administration will rethink this withdrawal, or is this set in stone?
It's hard for me to tell what the Biden administration is going to do because, quite frankly, they flip-flop. Look at what happened with infrastructure recently. My hope is that they actually take a look and they listen to their own military leadership and we go in with a plan or we rethink our exit strategy. 6 months is the best-case scenario. But it's already happening now. If we don't rethink this strategy, we have some dire consequences ahead of us, and it is going to lay at this administration's feet.
Now, do you think the United States will be back there, that we'll be forced to go back after the implosion takes place?
Unfortunately, I think we will be forced to go back there. I don't know who else would stand up.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yep, go right ahead. Yep, I can hear you.
Yeah. I said absolutely I think we'll be forced to go back there. I don't know who else would stand up to the task. And I think whether it's 6 months, whether it's 3 months, or whether it's a year, we're going to be back there. And we're going to be back there not because just only of Afghanistan, but once the Taliban takes hold, this is not just a regional threat. This is a worldwide threat. We haven't dealt with terrorist organizations under the last administration. We had 3 peace deals going on. Now what are we doing? We're reversing all of those policies and we're getting back and we're letting the Taliban take hold again. We can't let that happen.
I mean, this would be very similar to what happened in the Obama-Biden administration, pulling out of Iraq early, and we had to go back to Iraq as well.
And it costs us more money to do that, as opposed to let's pause. Let's get a good exit strategy. Let's make sure, like President Trump was actually doing with the Taliban and the Afghan government, let's actually get a peace and power sharing agreement in place to make sure that that region is secure before we exit.
One final question for you, Congresswoman McClain. Also, in his interview, Michael McCall said that he believed Biden was moving ahead with a total withdrawal for political reasons. Is this to appease his, the left-wing base of their party?
There seems to be a lot of appeasement going on right now to the left wing. But what we have to remember is that is just a small fraction of what America stands for. I actually think he is trying to appease them, yeah.
And as you said, it'd be a very costly appeasement. Congresswoman Lisa McClain, thanks so much for joining us today. Great to talk with you.
Thanks for having me. Have a nice day.